Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 28th of March. My name's Philip Kingston.
It is, and my name's Gary
Gary,
here.
can you believe in a few more days,
Yep.
the first quarter of 2017 is done and dusted?
Out of the way, Philip, and
pretty scary.
Before you know it, the Easter Bunny will be knocking on our back door with eggs.
I don't believe the Easter Bunny knocks.
Oh, no, it does.
Do you still do an Easter Bunny hunt with your children?
No, I never did you?
No, I used to.
Did you really?
Seriously. We grew up as a family.
Yeah.
We celebrated every festival.
As you
Didn't matter.
should, yep.
It didn't matter Christianity,
Exactly.
Judaism,
Ramadan,
Islam,
everything,
Buddhism,
exactly, yeah.
Hinduism.
A whole
If
lot.
they had a good,
Yeah.
if they had something good
You just
that
celebrated.
revolved around food,
Exactly right.
we grabbed it.
And the kids didn't know if it was Halloween or Easter or Christmas or Passover or... That was it. It all just became one big mess, food mess.
Easter was the best, except viewers, you might remember that I lived on a farm. It was quite a big farm, and my father used to hide the Easter eggs all over the farm. So we used to look for them for about a month.
That's right. It was a really big farm. It was 2,500 acres, if I'm not mistaken, Philip. And your dad would have like hours of joy having you gone, so he could actually enjoy his life.
My
putting
parents
it
were
out
delinquent parents. If they're watching this show, which they claim to watch from
Yep.
week to week, I'll know this Friday night when I see them
right.
after I've given them that serve.
Yeah, absolutely, Philip. But they had happy days with you gone in the old days in Cootamundra. But let's bring things a bit more local, Philip, because a big weekend, 17 out of 20, and 85% clearance
17 out
rate.
of 20. We did more than that. I think it was 21 out of 24.
17 out of 20, Philip. That's what I've got on my list. I think that's right. If it's not, we'll amend it later on.
It felt like a whole lot more.
It
Anyway,
did.
that gave us that gave us a clearance rate of
85% against industry average of 82%. Put up the towers. Let's have a look at them. Aren't they sparkling and beautiful?
Bring those towers down. Let's get on with the show. Gary,
let's review some of them.
Day yesterday.
Yesterday,
Sunday.
in our sales meeting. No, that was Monday. Yesterday was Monday, Philip. Sunday was the big day. Sunday was a very big
Anybody
day.
would
The day
think
before
this
yesterday.
show was filmed on a Monday when we say Tuesday.
Well, you know, I always think it's scary when you've got a real estate agent that doesn't know what date it is.
I'll have a sip of coffee. I'm
I
so
think
exhausted.
you need that. He is exhausted, and rightly so, because you had your first auction on 9:30 on Sunday morning.
9:30 Sunday morning.
And now, there's cynics out there who would say, oh, you know, that's just ridiculous. No one's about... Nothing would sell at 9:30 in the morning.
Do you know what? The biggest opposition we get is when we introduce a 9:30 auction or a 4:30 or a 5:30 auction. And yet every 9:30, 4:30, 5:30 auction we've had has always sold.
And sometimes humdinger as good as any other time, and better maybe, because there's nothing else on.
9:30, I think we had about 30 people there.
How early can we go? Do you reckon we could have like a 6:30 a.m. auction? Do you reckon we could
Do you know what I reckon?
Because people could just go out on Saturday night and not stop, just party on, and then come to the
I'm not
auction.
sure about how early, because I reckon 9:30 is about as early.
Yeah.
But the question I'd ask is how late can we go? Because we've had a lot of 5:30 auctions.
Well, we've
They've
had
always done
twilights
well.
at 6:30 and 7 o'clock.
But on a Sunday evening, I reckon we could do a 6:30 Sunday evening.
Yeah.
And as long as, if it was in Caulfield,
And the weather's
we
right.
catered the function.
Exactly
and
right.
maybe had a barbecue.
Bring a jazz band maybe, Philip, have some
But
nibblies.
viewers, just to give you some education from all of this frivolous drivel,
Nonsense,
the time makes no difference. We run them from 9:30 to 5:30, and we know whether we're going to sell them or not based on the market feedback we have by the Thursday of the preceding week. So we know what's selling on the weekend by Thursday, Friday, got nothing to do with the time.
How about the Grand Prix?
How about the
Who won
Grand
it?
Prix? I have absolutely no idea.
Do you want to ask me who won it?
But viewers, I'll come back to that.
You know?
Come back. Okay. Who won the Grand Prix?
No idea either, but I thought you might know. It's
So
funny
I'm
thing,
doing
isn't
an
it?
auction on Sunday in Wavenhoe at 2:30.
Oh yeah, the
right?
planes are going over there.
Seriously, this is what's happening at 2:30. We start the auction, and then it's a great auction. We sell it for hundreds of thousands of dollars over the reserve. And I'm finally into my last going, and I'm going, ladies and gentlemen, we're going, and then all of a sudden there is this absolutely violent explosion, roar.
Selling.
And literally right above us, this, I don't know, whether F-15, F-16, F-25, Hornet, whatever they call them, has done this banked loop literally right above the house, and it's almost blown people over.
That's like a celebration.
It was incredible.
Well, you would remember the reason I wasn't at Wavenhoe because I was at a wedding which was outdoors. It was beautiful. Congratulations to Isabel and Adam who got married. But aside from that, Phil, it was in a beautiful park in North Road, and 2:30 was the wedding time. And lo and behold, same thing. You know, jets going over, and the person that was running it said, "You will never forget this day." And Grand Prix Day. Anyway, Grand Prix, another one of Melbourne's wonderful festivals. We turn it on, best city in the world. Doesn't get any better. Phil, talk about the auctions. One property I'm going to talk about hasn't been sold, but I want to talk about because I reckon it's a buy, and that's in Murray Road, Ormond. We've had such phenomenal success in Ormond, and this property was passed in, but we're going to sell it, I reckon, because 2495
is the asking price, and that's a house with a tennis court and swimming pool,
oh, wow.
north-south court too. Gary, viewers, if you haven't liked us on Facebook, you probably then don't know that every Saturday and every Sunday evening we put out a Facebook video clip which encapsulates our sales.
Nice
from
coffee here, Phil.
Beautiful coffee. And anyway, it encapsulates our sales from the weekend. So all you have to do, if you want up-to-speed market information that's happening almost in real time, like Gary Peer on Facebook, and you will get that information delivered into your Facebook
people aren't watching
phone.
People aren't watching
Saturday
commercials,
night,
Phil. They want facts. Phil, I did go to the auction in Malvern Road, Malvern East. The reserve there was $850,000. I went there seeing Leo Samuel strut his stuff, and it sold for $1,035,000. Great auction, lots of competition, bidders everywhere, chocolates, everything, coffee van. It was great.
What was interesting across the weekend, viewers, we were selling at all the different price categories, and just about everything was competitive, and just about everything sold in excess of the reserve. So the market just continues to thump.
The 930 auction, Philip, the price is undisclosed, but because we're talking about 930, I think we should bring it up. That was in Inkerman Road, number 543 Inkerman Road.
And that was a sale, whilst the price is undisclosed, was in excess of $2 million.
Yes, you could say that.
So that 930 start was for what we would describe as a top-end property. So it just goes to show, doesn't it, yet again, time is irrelevant. Skill, on the other hand, Gary, is everything.
Beat competency, Philip. 184 Hotham Street, well, that was a humdinger, Phil. It was, I got there at Adam Josky. You know, we have these forms that we're very well organised, actually, really. We are quite well organised. Give ourselves that.
Well organised,
well organised. Two people that have no idea at school and aren't really clever. We're well organised. So we have these forms.
That's because we've employed really capable people.
Exactly right. So we have these forms, and the forms have to, the agent handling has to give a rating of how likely they are for that property to sell, what they think is likely. And Adam gave me the form, and it said on it 100%. I've never seen that before. And I said that as part of my auction bill. I said I've never ever seen any agent say 100% something will sell. He was very confident. It was very well received in its price range, which was in that low ones, Philip, and the reserve was in the low ones. The reserve was $1.2 million.
And what did it sell for,
and lo and behold, Philip, sold for $1,262,000. 1462, Phil. 1462.
Another excellent result. Gary, I just want to talk about that sale of mine in Wavenhoe, not the sale of mine.
Oh, we're getting there.
I did the auction.
I've got something else.
About it
You're out of order.
Viewers,
so much for organisation and structure.
Go online. I'm sure we're going to leave it up for a few days, but go online. That would have to be one of the most beautiful renovations I have ever seen.
Well done to the vendors.
The vendors.
Price is disclosed.
Is a husband and wife team. She was responsible for the interiors, and yet she's had no formal qualifications, no formal training.
But she's got style.
If she'd told me she was an architect and designer, I would have said absolutely. He runs an incredible landscaping business, so we had this combination of gorgeous home, gorgeous landscaping, gorgeous
outside,
interiors.
inside, winning combination.
So just a shout out to the owners of
Do they watch this too?
Well, if they don't, then they just missed out on a compliment. But shout out to the owners of Wavenhoe, who I think nailed the property. And we actually sold it to a real estate agent. And real estate agents, when it comes to their own personal homes, are very discerning.
Where they are sold, Philip, the price is disclosed, sold for $2,470,000, well in excess of reserve expectation. A popular property. Philip, the other interesting story, a nice story, was the sale at the other end of the market, lower end of the market, but nevertheless just as important to the seller and buyer and agents, sold in Cambrook Road, Philip. That was an apartment 11 at 125 Cambrook Road.
I believe the buyer of that came down from Sydney.
Well, there you go. The owner's someone I know very well, and he said, my son is looking for investment, so I said, why don't you come and buy this? And they actually bought something else, which was crap. And I told them to pull out of it, which they did. They had time to.
You got them to cool off on it?
Cool off. Well, they pulled out of it, some rubbish in Brisbane somewhere. Just anyway, got them to pull out of it.
You don't like Brisbane, do you?
I love Brisbane, but I don't like properties 40 k's out of Brisbane that are sort of, sold through financial advisors, and it's all not my thing.
One day we're going to lift the lid on some scams going on in the property industry, but we won't do that for a while,
we won't,
viewers.
We won't,
we're going to just consult lawyers
and control ourselves. So Phil, they came down, jumped in a plane, came down and bought it from the most delightful vendors who bought it from us and rented it out through us and also lived there, and they bought that for $425,000. So congratulations to them. A young man, and only 19 years old, Phil, 19 years old.
And a shout out to those clients that came down from Sydney. They travelled Qantas. They always travel Qantas, and if you're wondering why I'm saying Qantas yet for a third time, is because we're hoping to get a sponsorship from Qantas. So anybody listening from Qantas, we're happy to give you exclusive naming rights as our preferred airline for the 1 in 10,000 transactions.
They better
when
get on
somebody
quickly.
comes down via plane, we'll tell them to travel Qantas.
Oh, there's a knock on the door. I think it could be Virgin or Tiger. You better hurry up and get in quickly.
It's only available for a
Exactly
limited
right.
period.
Just now. Phil, we've got a great property to review and an interesting property because history's been made here. It's got a connection to the block. We talked last week about the block, some exclusive to do with the block, and it's right here. But first, shall we talk about the auctions coming up this week, Philip?
Let's get stuck into it, Gary, because we've got another busy weekend.
We have indeed. Phil, happy to say we have 15 auctions over 9 suburbs, a superb smorgasbord of properties coming up this weekend, Philip. But we're not going to see you on Saturday.
I'm not going to be here on Saturday because this is serious, I'm actually flying to Sydney on Friday on Qantas.
There you go. Is that a free flight? Did you get that ticket?
I just rang a few moments ago and said,
segment?
yep, here's your first freebie.
Fair enough. Philip, we start off just around, not far from where we are, in Caulfield East, Philip, one of our 15 auctions over 9 suburbs this weekend, and Simon Radolnik has the auction on us. This is a great looking property. Take us through it in Caulfield East, Philip.
Well, Gary, look at that facade. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's got a high land component, 624 square metres. So this is a home you can buy, live in, or think about the options with the land. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking, Gary. I like that property, and I love that suburb.
Phil, I kick off the auctions that I'll be doing on Saturday at 11:30am in Cromwell Street. It's a great address, and this is a very affordable property. It's been good interest. Tim Smith's had a good time representing the vendor.
Well, Gary, what a great location. Cromwell comes off Hawthorne Road, right near the park, so it's pretty fabulous. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, off-street car parking, and there you really got the options between either living in the house, doing it up perhaps, putting it in the investment portfolio, or examining the land component.
I forgot to mention, Philip, 11:30 is triple auction action time, and we've got it's a fantastic looking apartment in Kooyong Road, Caulfield South. Take us through this one.
Gary, we love this building. Glenn Bricker has been very, very active in this building because he was responsible for selling the entire development.
He was
and
indeed.
What a successful development it's been. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 basement car park, but that's proven to be a really good building. We've done really well there.
We start our Bayside Groove at 11:30 in St Kilda West in Park Street, a terrific address. Joel Sir has been handling it. Jeremy Rosen's auctions.
Well, Park Street, you're close to Fitzroy Street, you're close to the beach. And Gary, speaking of Fitzroy Street, that's about to be transformed because the block obviously bought the Gatwick.
Well, not obviously, but it's kind of been rumoured, and now
out there, Gary.
Pretty confirmed.
It's out there. And they bought the Gatwick, and I believe, and this is with due respect to the residents of the Gatwick, I think that that's going to be a transformer for Fitzroy Street.
Well,
anyway,
it was a sorry place, really. There was a lot of bad stuff happening.
Yeah,
at
it
Gatwick.
was.
I know it helped a lot of people.
But I say with due respect to the residents. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, and that is just the most sensational location.
Talking about sensational locations, around the corner from our St Kilda office in Grieve Street, this is a great apartment. We did the St Kilda and Bayside report from here.
When you say that, Gary, a bit of a scoop, viewers. We're soon, our massive office at number 55 Inkerman Street, St Kilda,
grown out of it.
has become too small, so we've bought a new office as well in Inkerman. And the funny part about it, we own 55 now, we own number 33.
We just got to get everything in between, and then we can open a Chadstone Shopping Centre.
Looking for 44 viewers, so if you own 44 Inkerman, give us a buzz. We like those double numbers. Anyway, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 security car space, Gary. We love that development. Come on down to our new office and say hello.
Say hello. We're opening. When are we opening? We're very close.
As soon as we raise funds for the last builder's instalment.
Exactly right. But Grieve Street, go on.
Yeah, go on.
Hey, go online and check that Grieve Street one out because the vendor is part of the video tour. So we're doing something innovative and interesting. Innovative and interesting. Philip, at 12:30, I get to auction opposite the other office in Caulfield.
Yes.
But this is in St Kilda East at Orong Road. I'm looking forward to selling this one for some very good clients and friends of the company.
We love this building, Gary. 2 bedrooms,
who are
1.5
watching,
bathrooms.
and hey to the vendors because they are watching. They've tuned in.
I pay homage to you and thank you again for the opportunity of working for you. I'm sure Gary will do a great job for you this weekend. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, basement security car parking. That position is a no-brainer. Walk to the shopping centre or walk to the tram in Dandenong Road. Get rid of your car or rent the car park out to somebody else.
Big project across the road coming in, Philip. That apartment has 2 courtyards, not 1 but 2. It's a spectacular property, Philip. At 1:30, Jeremy Rosen's keeps the flow going in Alexandra Street. Take us through that.
Well, Gary, we love Alexandra Street. Great location there too. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. And I'd shout out to all young people or investors, 1 bedroom apartments make great places to live, but they do form the basis of a really good investment portfolio.
Philip.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
Oh, sorry, I got a drink.
What's wrong with you?
I've just stopped.
Disease thing. We're halfway through the show. No,
We're taking that off.
We're not going to take that off.
Of course we are.
We're going to have you in.
Sounds terrible. All of a sudden, I just got
sick disease.
like a furball.
Really, I don't even have a cat.
I know. I don't have a cat.
Dirty dog that you've
It's
got.
not a dirty dog. It's a beautiful. That's terrible. That's got to be taken out.
It's not going to be taken
Hey,
out.
what I was going to say is the Adams family were creepy and they were kooky, but you won't be if you buy an Adams Street Murrumbina because this is a great place. Philip, I'm dying here. Go on.
Okay, what an amazing property this is, Gary. 4 magnificent bedrooms, 2.5 incredible bathrooms, double lock-up garage, Gary, and a shout out to the builder.
What about
of that
this
property.
like pool, spa,
Yeah,
pools?
I mean, it's
How
just
cool is
everything you could ever want in a home is there.
And let me tell you, the people who have done that, they are real stylish builders. They do a terrific
They're
job.
real stylish.
They've got real style.
That's the best you can give those people.
Yeah.
They're real stylish.
They are real stylish, Phil.
That's why we have you in the back office, essentially doing the admin for the business.
Spluttering and coughing.
Because front of house, you're actually terrible.
Hey, they're real stylish, and I'm real excited about triple auction action on Sunday, Philip. It starts off with this terrific, affordable property in Cardigan Street.
Well,
Number 1, I'm going to do the auction. Hopefully, I won't lose it in coughing.
I've got to tell you, if those vendors watch this show, they're going to
cancel
sack
me,
you
aren't they?
immediately. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking there, Gary, and that's just original and incredible.
Just around the corner, Philip, again, opposite our office, 327 Orong Road, Skilways. Now, funny story with this block, I don't know if you remember the auction, but this is one of the few times in the history of our company
It wasn't funny at all.
where we knocked the property down to a guy, he was there in the crowd, and he looked at his wife, and his wife looked at him, and his wife's gone, and he actually ran. He did a runner, and he outran us.
Yeah,
we did sell it later, but it was a funny story.
Wasn't funny at the time, Gary. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. Good building, and those buildings that were built in the 60s and 70s, Gary, are about, I don't know, 30 to 50% bigger than what you'd get in a new property.
Indeed they are, Philip. Pine Street is where you're going to be auctioning at 11:30.
How good's this house? I love this house. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, plenty of car parking. That is just a great property because it's immaculate as it is, but it's just waiting for somebody to give it a 21st century overhaul.
At 12:30, Philip, you are going to go and do the auction in Go Street,
And
Philip.
a shout out to the vendors of this property. This house is magnificent. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, double lock-up garage, parking in front. This property's got it all, Gary. It even has a lift, so, you know, if you have a big night and you're on the ground floor and you can't handle the stairs, just go into the lift and up you go.
You need a lift.
And then, I've got to tell you, it's probably the best main bedroom suite I think I've ever seen. Like checking into the suite, Gary, of a luxury hotel.
It's pretty spectacular. We're looking forward to seeing you do that auction, Philip, one of our feature properties of the week, and I'm going to be in this picture postcard perfect facade property, as you like to say, in Oak Grove, Ripponlea.
Well, Gary, you could have lunch perhaps at Attica, which is just around the corner, if of course you could afford to eat there.
Yes.
What an incredible, one of the world's top 50 best restaurants, walking distance to this
But there's so
property.
many other cafes. The Ripponlea Wine Bar just on the corner there. I love that place.
That's a sexy little place,
That's
isn't
really
it? 4
good, yeah.
bedrooms
Wine
here
food.
though, Gary, 2 bathrooms, off-street car parking. Real opportunity to further improve there.
This is a real prestige property, this one, Phil. A real prestige property we've got.
Well, do you know what it's called, Gary?
It's called Kingston, isn't it?
Correct.
There you go. I
Correct.
picked it up. Even though you tried to hide it from me to be all sneaky, I actually knew. But it's not Kingston, it's Kingstown. So it's got the U there. So it hasn't actually got a connection to you because the U took you out of it.
It's Kingston.
Yes.
I purposely, when I built this building, I purposely put the U in to throw Gary off the scent because I used some trust account funds to
I wonder why we haven't taken any drawings for 25 years.
To build this 40-story building.
Good. Yeah,
anyway,
makes sense,
that's all nonsense. This is really what I consider to be probably the premier building on St Kilda Road.
It always has been. It's got a reputation, hasn't it?
Backs onto Faulkner Park. This building is one of the older buildings.
Yep.
When I say that, it was built the old-fashioned way, where the apartment sizes are massive, the views are incredible, the facilities are out of this world, and the new buildings, in my opinion, aren't a patch on this one. And we're lucky enough to have this one, Gary, on the 12th floor, overlooking the park. It is just stunning.
And Rafi Joffe is looking forward to taking you through there. And if you don't speak English, you can speak to Rafi because he speaks many languages.
He does, Gary.
He is very, very skilled.
Multilingual.
He is multilingual indeed. Philip, we finish off at my old neighbour who I grew up with for almost half of my life at Gordon Street, Elsinore. Philip, number 70 Gordon Street. So excited to be doing that auction. I hope you come along and watch.
So viewers, if you happen to come to this auction, have a look at number 68, which is next door. That's where Gary lived his life.
I did.
And if you go...
You used to stay over.
I did.
Yeah.
If you go into...
Try to sneak into my sister's bedroom a few times. We won't talk about that because it's inappropriate.
If you walk onto the sides, go around the back of number 68, there's a little storeroom, and in the storeroom there are boxes with your Playboy magazines.
They were my father's Playboy magazines, and you know what? Well, I don't know if you remember the story.
I wasn't going to speak
Oh no,
you're
happy to diss me, but
I was
not
going to land it on you.
But there's a good story because we used to work at the market, right? Do you remember this?
Of course, I remember.
And we sold the Playboy, and someone came up and bought this kid on a bike, this bratty kid, bought this Playboy magazine from us for like $2 because we were trying to get rid of it. And I said, you know, you're a bit young to be reading that. He goes, I'm not going to read it. He goes, I'm just going to keep it. I said, well, what for? And he said, because it's the first ever Australian Playboy. It's worth about $200. And he drove on.
We sold. So essentially, your father kept those magazines for their inherited investment.
He did. He had no interest in them other than as a capital item of appreciation.
Let's get back to number 70 Gordon Street. It is one of the most incredible homes. We've featured it all over. I can't
believe you remember that. Did you used to hang out back there?
Number 70 Gordon Street is the most incredible home.
It is.
Regardless of whether you're interested in buying or not, come along to this auction because this house, it's been featured in the design files. This is one of Melbourne's most iconic homes of its era and certainly a fabulous, fabulous property. And you're honoured, I think, to be able to be the auctioneer.
I am doing the auction and I'm going to be very excited, a little bit emotional, a bit nostalgic, all of those things, Philip. It's going to be terrific.
Shout out to the vendors there who are the most remarkable couple.
Aren't they? And they have the most lovely family. Now, Phil, we did talk about the block and I said there's going to be exclusive. The exclusive is that Julia from the block is exclusively offering our selling clients, Philip, the opportunity to have a video tour. And the first video tour she decided to do and chose was the home we're in right now. Let's have a quick look at it.
Well, how much does she love how much does the camera love her?
Well, we don't have to, well, let's just she can be over in the background so people don't need to look at us, they can be watching, which they're doing now. But she is fantastic on camera, but she also was genuinely excited about the property that we're in,
Well,
Philip.
Gary,
let's
number
talk a little bit
22
about that.
Prince Edward Avenue, McKinnon, would have to be the most immaculate home that I think I've seen in years.
It's a credit to the vendor, isn't it?
I mean, we start with some really essential ingredients. Prince Edward is a fantastic street, a beautiful street, and in a development zone. So if there's any builders watching, you should be paying close attention to this property.
There's a bit going on.
Because whilst it's a fabulous property, it's underpinned by the most amazing parcel of land, which has development value. Having said that, the house is immaculate.
Stunning house.
There's not a chip or scratch. It's beautifully laid out. It's got all of the best that money can buy, both from an accommodation point of view, Gary, and just the attention to detail here is stunning. So, you know, you could look at this property from two directions, Gary, either as the most incredible future site for development and live in it for the next 10, 15, 20 years and just love every moment, knowing that at the end of your journey you have a very, very valuable parcel of land.
Indeed, Leon Guzenfitter and his team are excited to be doing this one.
Ben Eisner's been here and he's loving it.
He has. You can't keep him away from the place, but Philip, they're all excited.
Well, you can. I mean,
no, he doesn't want to.
He's got a very young child, Gary, so when he's not here, Eden, who's now, I think as we speak, about 7 weeks old.
A couple of months old.
And when he's not selling real estate and not at Prince Edward, he's changing little Eden's nappies. That's what he was telling me off camera. Thought I'd share that.
That's great. Everybody wants to hear about the nappy change. Phil,
what a big week in real estate, Gary. Both from what we've sold and what we've got coming up. It's busy. It's busy out there. I'm loving it.
It's busy. It's pumping. It's happening. It's exciting. And so are all of the things that are going on in the real estate world. And we look forward to keeping you in touch on GPTV. I'm Gary Pearce.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a fabulous week.